Okay, if I could get everyone's attention, I'm going to call to the meeting, the public hearing. If everyone could please silence their electronic devices and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Would the clerk please read the notice of public? Would the clerk please read the notice of public hearing?
Orange County Legislature, notice of public hearing on tentative budget for Orange County Community College. Notice is hereby given that the Orange County Legislature will meet at the chambers of the Orange County Legislature in the Orange County Government Center, 255 Main Street, Goshen, New York, at 3:15 p.m. on the first day of August 2024 for a purpose of holding a public hearing on the tentative budget for Orange County Community College for the fiscal year beginning September 1st, 2024 and ending August 31st, 2025. Further notice is hereby given that copies of said tentative budget are available at the office of the clerk of said county legislature, 255 Main Street, second floor in the Orange County Government Center, Goshen, New York, where they may be inspected or procured by any interested person during usual business hours on the Orange County website or on the Orange County website, www.orangecountygov.com. The notice was published in the July 24th issues of the Hudson Valley Press, the Goshen Independent, the July 25th issues of the Times Community newspapers, Walk Hill Valley and Mid-Hudson Times, and the July 26th issue of the News of the Highlands Cornwall Local.
Okay, I would now like to call on Dr. Christine Young, President of Orange County Community College, and Paul Martland, Vice President of Administration and Finance, to provide an overview of the proposed ALC budget.
Thank you. There we are. Thank you, Mr. Ruskevich. Good afternoon. I'm Chris Young. I have the privilege of serving as the president of Orange County Community College. Several minutes you'll hear from our Vice President for Administration and Finance, Paul Martland, directly on the specifics of our budget request. My purpose over a few minutes is to thank the County of Orange, County Executive Steve Newhouse and his leadership team, as well as the entire Orange County Legislature, especially Chair Katie Benelli and E&E Chair Joe Menuda, for past generous support of SUNY Orange. Your investment last year was appreciated, and I'm here today to highlight that it was put to very good work and propelled our remarkable success. Indeed, we can report 6 successive terms of enrollment growth and are on track for a 7th in the fall of 2024. Last fall, we grew by 7.1% FTE. Last winter, up 11.2% FTE. This spring, we were up 10.4% FTE, and this summer, we were up over 9% FTE as well. These numbers represent a growth in credit students in degree programs, and they are coming to us on the strength of what we offer, when and how we offer it, and the support of students once they are with us. Quick examples include expanding our nursing program last year in Newburgh by 50%. All of our students are now supported 24/7 by an online platform we've dubbed Orange Connect, where faculty, staff, and students can reach out to one another to connect to proper college resources at the click of a button. I thank Provost Erica Hackman for her relentless leadership in academic and student services. But this past year, we've also emphasized what has been called our non-credit or workforce education. You've probably met or heard about the newly established Vice President, Dr. Jean Leandre, who wasted no time in reinvigorating programs, standing up new ones, and acquiring relevant grants. Under the rebranding of SUNY Orange Plus, we've run workforce courses at Pine Bush High School in advanced manufacturing. We've graduated 4 classes of CDL drivers and offered our first certified fiber optic technician courses, just to give a few SUNY Orange Plus examples. Working hand in glove with Dr. Hackman, we are offering our first micro-credentials for direct support professionals, having won a $1.2 million grant from the state. This is just the start of Orange Plus work, SUNY Orange Plus work, and I welcome and thank Dr. Leandre for joining the team. And I've heard a few of you complimenting us for the advertisements you've seen on TV and streaming services. Indeed, my long-term colleague, Mike Albright, deserves a shout out for the sophisticated, multifaceted campaign from billboards to Instagram he has designed over the past several years that has contributed to our success. And I'll end on our fiscal responsibility, first by paying homage and thanking publicly our Board of Trustees, including and especially our Board Chair, Ralph Martucci, and our Vice Chair, Tom Waddell, both who are here today. Volunteers, all as you know, and I appreciate this venue to recognize the seriousness with which they take their appointments and the duties to students and the community. They are actively engaged in constructing and monitoring budgets and operations. Beyond the meetings, with calls and administrators, they spend much time, often with me, advocating in Albany and Washington, D.C. for more resources. It is worth noting that I'm in the middle of a 3-year stint as president of NICAP, the New York Community College Association of Presidents, where we cooperated seamlessly with community college trustees on an advocacy platform seeking $97 million of additional operating aid for SUNY community colleges this past year. While we did not achieve that goal, we did effect an increase of $8 million of recurring funds to be added specifically to community college coffers, the first increase to community colleges from the state in about a decade. As president of NICAP, I am proud of this accomplishment, and I'm working with my NICAP government relations team all summer to build on that success for next year. We are motivated by the undue pressure on our county sponsors. Again, I thank the County of Orange for your support of Orange County Community College, and I now turn the presentation over to Vice President Paul Martland, one of the best representatives of our financial acumen and responsibility.
Thank you, President Young, and good afternoon, everyone. I will keep this short because I know you've all had the opportunity to see our budget and our budget book. But the highlights worth discussing, we're looking at a budget for fiscal year 24-25 with total expenditures of about $65.6 million, total revenues of $64.7 million, which you notice is less than the expenses. So we will be using $880,000 of our fund balance to balance this year's budget. The other assumptions that went into this budget are a tuition increase of 2.5%, which was approved by our board back in April. An enrollment projection of a 6% increase, which is being borne out by in the data we have so far. Much more significant than that, actually, but as you may recall, the enrollment in community colleges, a lot of it happens at the very end. So we won't know the final number until the end of August, the beginning of September. But all things are looking very good that our enrollment projection will be met. We have the county increase of 5%, for which I am very thankful, and I appreciate the support of both the E&E and the Ways and Means Committee on this. I know that's a little higher number than you may have been expecting originally, but we had to deal with some cost increases due to some labor contract settlement, and this addresses that, so we appreciate that, and it also keeps the county in line with that 33% goal, which I will get to in a minute. The budget does reflect pay increases per the per the bargaining unit contracts, and it also reflects some planning for continuing inflationary pressures that we may face during the coming year. Breakdown on the revenue side, tuition and fees account for 38.9% of our expenses. The county share, of our revenue. The county share is 33.74%. So once again, the county has more than fulfilled their obligation to the college, in which we are greatly appreciative. The state is at 19.66%. Chargebacks from other counties account for about 4%, and then the other income, including the income from Orange Plus that Dr. Young described, the non-credit activities, of about 3.6% of our budget. On the expense side, it's a simple tale. Salaries and benefits account for 84.27% of the budget. Everything else, 15.73%. So it's the story of community colleges. We are very heavily dependent on personnel, and that is our single largest expense. Two things to note. One, we've already commented on, this is about the enrollment. The two things that matter to us meeting this budget are meeting the enrollment target and prudent management of our vacancies. Enrollment, I'm feeling very comfortable on, as I mentioned. The vacancy management in the budget book that you all saw at that time, it was a snapshot of, in time. I believe there were 36 positions listed in that list. That has evolved since then. But what we have done is, because vacancy management will be key to us meeting our budget targets, President Young and the three vice presidents, we meet weekly, and part of our standing agenda is to review the vacancies at each week and to establish what our next steps are going to be, to hire, to not fill, or to fill at a later date. So we are very keenly attuned to the importance of managing the vacancies. So that is the presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Okay, thank you. All right, anyone wishing to speak, please sign up at the desk in the back of the chamber, and when your name is called, please come to the microphone and give your name and town for the record. There will be a 3-minute limit for all speakers. Do we have any speakers lined up? Okay, no speakers. Being that there's no speakers, I now declare the public hearing closed. Thank you, everyone.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for attending the regular session of the Orange County Legislature. Today's date is Thursday, August 1st, and I would ask that we call this meeting to order, and we would ask that all of you please silence any cell phones or electronic devices you may have with you this afternoon. And please stand for a moment of silence and join me in the pledge to the flag. At this time, I'd ask the clerk to please do the roll call.
Here.
Paduk,
Here.
Amo, Anagnestakis, Benton, Cheney,
Here.
Ellers, Feller, Hines, Luhan, Menuda, O'Donnell, Ramos, Riskevich, Sassy, Sierra, Stiganga, Sutherland, Tortel, Tui, Benelli. 18 present, 3 absent.
At this time, I would ask that Legislator Janet Sutherland join me, please, at the podium for a special recognition. Well, good afternoon. And for our special recognition this evening, first like to start off by saying, we as legislators, along with the county executive, work very, very diligently in trying to do our mission of having a fiscally sound county, having a safe county, and having an enjoyable county. And in order for us to do that mission, we rely on our employees. This afternoon, we are here to celebrate and recognize a 40-year veteran in the county attorney's office. So, Mr. Rick Golden, our county attorney, I'm going to turn it over to you for the recognition and the presentation of the 40-year pin.
Thank you. Peter, you want to come up? Good to have you here. Obviously, as we said, this is a tremendous honor and recognition. Peter being here in the county attorney's office continuously for over 40 years. Now, everyone who knows Peter knows that Peter likes things, right? He likes to collect antique things. He likes to collect historical things. He likes to collect sometimes very strange things. But why we're here today is because Peter also not only passionate about collecting things, but he's passionate about the children of Orange County that he protects through all of his efforts for those that are abused and neglected or potentially abused and neglected, and all of his efforts that he does. Peter is the consummate professional. He is a lawyer's lawyer, and that's thrown around maybe a little bit too much, but Peter definitely is. He is somebody who other experienced lawyers as well as young lawyers go to for advice and counsel. It's invaluable. And Peter is the type of attorney that you would always want to be, in that he's always prepared on the facts. He does whatever's necessary to marshal all of them. He diligently researches the law, puts them together as a great advocate on behalf of those children, on behalf of Orange County, protecting those children. It's a very difficult job. That's a very difficult area of practice within the county attorney's office, is representing the county in abuse and neglect cases and Department of Social Services. But Peter has done it in such an outstanding manner for over 40 years now. So Peter, before I give you the pin, I'm going to pass it over to Legislator Sutherland.
Thank you so much. I just wanted to take this time to congratulate you and to thank you. I know that there have even been times through my work over at Orange Ulster Bosse's where you've taken my call and you've answered my questions, and you are truly the epitome of a professional. And I think it can be very difficult at times to not get caught up and to not get obviously burnt out, and to see the things that you see and hear the things that you hear. So congratulations, because this truly is a testimony to the individual that you are.
So Peter, here's a pen. It's a very nice pen. Little green emerald there embedded. Yes. Yeah, this is the pinning ceremony.
Yeah, it is. That's okay, don't worry.
Yeah, no, I can't get it. Okay.
Don't worry.
So we'll just leave
Yeah,
it in there.
yeah,
It
that
looks really
sounds
nice
good.
in there. Looks really nice in the box.
All right. If we could all recognize Peter by your applause for his efforts.
Peter, again, congratulations. It is a true testament to see so many people here to join in this recognition. All of the individuals from the county attorney's office and from other offices that have worked with Peter, thank you for attending. I'd like to recognize Majority Leader Fagione.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For the month of August, the legislature would like to recognize the following. August 4th is U.S. Coast Guard Day, August 12th is International Youth Day, and August 21st is National Senior Citizens Day. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Before we get started, I would also like to recognize, and I don't know if she's still in the chambers, but Family Court Judge Hun Chin Kim. I think she left. Also with us this afternoon is former Assemblywoman Nancy Calhoun. Hi, Nancy. Thank you for joining us. And as always, our Deputy County Executive, Harry Poor. Thanks, Harry. Okay, we'll start the agenda. A is received and filed, and we'll start with number 1. Oh, I'm sorry.
Madam Chair, if I may,
Oh, I forgot. Go ahead.
I move to approve the minutes of June 6, 2024.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried, and now we will start with item number 1.
Legislators Menuda, Tui, Benton, and Cheney, with all Republicans as co-sponsors. Bond resolution dated August 1st, 2024. Bond resolution of the County of Orange, New York, authorizing the preparation of surveys, preliminary and detailed plans, specifications, and estimates necessary for the rehabilitation of Taxiway E at the Orange County Airport, stating the estimated maximum cost thereof is $138,400, appropriating said amount therefore, including $124,560 expected to be received from the United States of America and $6,920 expected to be received from the state of New York, and authorizing the issuance of 6,920 bonds of the county to pay the balance thereof.
Second.
Questions or comments? I will remind you that this is a bond resolution necessitating a 2/3 vote. Hearing no questions or comments, roll call, please.
Fagione?
Yes.
Paduk?
Yes.
Amo, Benton, Cheney, Ellers, Feller, Hines, Lujan, O'Donnell, Ramos, Riskevich, Sassy, Stiganga, Sutherland, Tortel, Tui, Benelli. 18 ayes.
We move to number 2.
Legislators Benton and Hines, with all Republicans as co-sponsors. Resolution accepting a donation of a parcel of real property in the town of Cornwall from Bywater Capital LLC pursuant to Section 2153 of the county law.
Second.
Questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Fagion?
Yes.
Paduk?
Yes.
Amo? Benton? Cheney? Ellers? Feller? Hines? Luhan? O'Donnell? Ramos? Riskevich? Sassy? Stiganga? Sutherland? Tortel? Tui? Benelli. 18 ayes.
Number 3, please.
Legislators O'Donnell, Lujan, Benton, and Fagion with all Democrats as co-sponsors. Resolution adopting a budget for the Orange County Community College for fiscal year 2024 to 2025 and providing for the raising of taxes required by such budget pursuant to Section 6304 of the Education Law and Article 4 of the Orange County Charter.
Second.
Questions or comments? Okay, before roll call, I would just like to thank Dr. Young and Mr. Paul Martland for being here this afternoon, along with some of the trustees I see here, and for your presentation at the public hearing preceding this meeting. Thank you. And we'll start roll call.
Fagion?
Yes.
Paduk?
Yes.
Amo? Benton? Cheney? Ellers? Feller? Hines? Lujan? O'Donnell? Ramos? Riskevich? Sassy? Stiganga? Sutherland? Tortel? Tui? Benelli. 18 ayes.
Okay, we move to number 4, please.
Legislators Riskevich and Benton with all Republicans and all Democrats as co-sponsors. Resolution setting a date for a public hearing with respect to the proposal of the monetary amount contributed by the County of Orange pursuant to the Walk-Hill River Annual Flood Management Agreement. This public hearing would be held on August 26, 2024 at 3:15 p.m. here in the Legislative Chamber.
Second.
Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Fagion?
Yes.
Paduk?
Yes.
Amo? Benton? Cheney? Ellers? Feller? Hines? Lujan? O'Donnell? Ramos? Riskevich? Sassy? Stiganga? Sutherland? Tortel? Tui? Benelli. 19 ayes.
Thank you. And we move to number 5.
19 ayes.
We move to number 5 now.
Legislators Fagion and Amo with, yes. Resolution of the Orange County Legislature to submit a proposed reapportionment plan for public review and comment and establishing a date for a public hearing pursuant to Section 2.08 of the Orange County Charter. That public hearing would be held on August 15, 2024 at 5 p.m. here in the Legislative Chamber.
Questions or comments? Was that a hand? Legislator Tortel.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. This process, to me, has been extremely, almost rushed. The data was available in 2021, yet the RFP did not go out until November of 2023 for the redistricting. Now at the 11th hour, we're being warned, threatened, told, however you choose to phrase it, if we do not pass MAP 6 today and put this to the public, we might not have a map for the 2025 petitioning for the next election of this body. The reason I chose to support the firm awarded the redistricting RFP was they said they wanted to meet with each legislator. That did not happen. I did not speak personally to any of the representatives of the firm until the June 26th meeting, 2024, here in these chambers. We, the legislators, did not see the maps until the end of April 2024, and that was map 2, map 1, map 3, then we had a map 4, then it was going back and forth. So how could we even understand where we were when we kept being told in the beginning of the process, the first several months, oh, we can't show you the maps, we can't show you the maps, that was the direct quote. They're not to be distributed to all the legislators. So we couldn't chime in with direct comment on what was being reviewed by the committee at that point in time. We could only address concerns that were in a general direction of what we know of our districts and concerns. We were told through the process that the public would be given several maps, 2 to 3, to view and comment on. Now we are not giving the people we represent a choice. They are being force-fed no choice. What a disservice we are doing to the people we represent. Well, I always want to hear public comment and learn from the people that we represent, because we represent a wide body of people who are very educated and may have information that, for one reason or another, was never introduced into the process of our redistricting. I feel the choice of one map alone, a map that was created on a couple of comments that were made on the June 26th meeting and the data that was available. I believe that in some of the larger areas of the cities, the +1s, the +2s, the -4s, the R+6, I think that at that point in time in 2021, we were in the heels of a pandemic. Things were still in lockdown. I think that us having more knowledge from our public and from the legislators who represent their district and know for certain that this pocket here definitely represents a ethnic group that is going to, could possibly be divided and should be looked at. So I say again, what kind of service are we doing to the people that we represent by force feeding them one map? Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Legislator Stiganga.
Thank you for the opportunity to address my fellow legislators regarding this resolution. Less than a month ago, when we met on June 26, more than half of the legislators here had issues and questions regarding the process related to the redistricting lines. We felt we were being denied access to the consultants, even though we were told we would have access, and our questions and concerns were not addressed. From the beginning of this process, we were told we needed to present 3 maps to the public for them to comment on. We were given specific maps, 1, 2, and 3, and asked to make suggestions and requests. The next set consisted of 3, 4, and 5, with 2 of the maps being almost identical except for small changes. It was stressed that we had to present 3 maps again and to look at the new maps and to make requested changes. Those of us whose districts were severely affected by these changes came into the office and spent hours sitting and discussing our concerns and asking for fair changes to be made to represent our current districts. Some of the redistricting committees who worked closely with the consultants made sure that the counties to the western district side of Orange County were protected while ignoring the ripple effect on how it would affect the districts on the east side of the county. All suggestions given to fair and equal changes were basically ignored and fell on deaf ears. I personally was told that I could not refer to any district as my district, and that any arguments or requests I made had to be backed up by specific requirements or that could cause the proposed maps to be considered illegal. I personally asked on more than one occasion if specific districts had met the requirements as outlined in the New York Voting Rights Act. I still have not received the answers to those questions. I believe the proposed map that we are being asked to vote on today has been created with total disregard to how it's going to affect all the legislative districts in each of our communities in those districts. As the current District 11 representative, I lost 98% of my particular district. It was flip-flopped with another. There was no reason for these 2 districts to be flipped. They are similar. They could have stayed similar with small adjustments to the changes. There are also other districts that have changed dramatically due to the direction from the redistricting committee that were given to the consultants. Some of these changes were made after the June 26 meeting, where we did not have full ample time to actually go over some of our concerns, but we were promised at that meeting on multiple times by multiple people that we would have another opportunity to meet with the consultants and address our concerns. These affected districts will now span through multiple towns, villages, school districts, thus hampering proper representation for those communities. This is nothing more than a repeat of what transpired with the 2013 redistricting maps. We are once again being asked to rush the process and push this map through. We are being advised it would cause possible litigation and given accusations or gently that it would be our fault if we vote against this because we would not meet the timeline. If in fact this map or any of the maps that we have had presented to us have been correctly created by these consultants according to the New York State Voting Acts and fulfill those requirements outlined, then why are we afraid to allow it to go to the pre-clearance process? Isn't that why we hired the consultants in the first place? To make sure that we had a fair, equitable, and legal map that protected all of our residents in Orange County. This process has not been conducted as promised by our leadership. There have been communications that have not been exactly true. All the legislators and their concerns were not taken into account. And there's a strong appearance of impropriety when it comes to what we have been told over the last 4 months, versus what the discussion that has been conducted today. I urge all my fellow legislators, especially the ones who were in agreement on the arguments as outlined prior to the 26th and may have had some changes that would make them happy now, but to join me and vote no because this process was not done correctly. Please consider your previous frustrations, the questions that you didn't get answers to, the lack of input regarding the process, the lack of communication, and the inability to have an input for your constituents, and vote no. Thank you.
Anyone else? Legislator Ramos.
Thank you, Chairwoman. So my previous colleagues have already spoken in regards to the process. I have shared very similar concerns regarding the process in which the way redistricting has taken place here. So first and foremost, I'm just going to say what perhaps others are not comfortable saying. We are all politicians in this room, all 21 of us. We are elected officials, and we cannot negate that at the heart, this is a political process. And so I think that there are ways in which this process could have been handled very differently. For example, Dutchess County created an independent redistricting commission where no legislator sat on that commission. Granted, they also had their challenges, but nonetheless, I think that in and of itself, having a group of 6 legislators where only 1 Democrat was there, and that 1 Democrat was expected to hold all of the concerns and nuances for his caucus is unfair. The reality is that several legislators, including myself, asked for meetings with the consultants and were not granted meetings with the consultants. I happened to be granted a meeting that was facilitated by our legislative council due to feedback that I submitted. And then Professor Weiss, the counsel on the consulting team, specifically asked to speak to me. As a result of that meeting, the changes that I requested based on communities of interest being split up in the city of Newburgh were in fact granted. But the reality is I have to look at the bigger picture here. And I'm not willing to be selfish and only think of myself and my reelection, but I have to really look at this from a place of principle and consciousness. And the reality is that this process it was not a transparent process. Having 6 legislators having meetings where only the 6 of them were able to be present, and that the only way that we were able to give feedback, we as in the rest of us, was through them. That is just, it does not speak to having an actual democratic process as it relates to fair maps. And fair maps, I think, really entail a lot of different things. I know folks share concerns for different reasons and in different ways. But the reality is that this map is not equitable. And the onus put on leadership on both parties, again, not just to take our concerns into that room and into those meetings, but then for them, the expectation was for them to then bring the information out of those meetings to us. And that clearly, there was clearly a gap there on both sides, because there has been many challenges and concerns raised on both sides of the aisle in this legislature. And so what that tells me is that the process that was put in place was a flawed process that did not allow folks that have been elected by the people that they represent to be heard and to actually be seen throughout this process to elevate the concerns and the needs for their districts. I am fully aware of the potential ramifications in terms of timing and the legal aspects of this. And to that, I say that I am, like Legislator Tautel said, I am one that always wants to center the voice of constituents, not just in my district, but across the county. And at the same time, I feel uncomfortable putting this one single map out in front of the public. And in terms of timing, the census data has been available since 2021. So as far as I'm concerned, we could have started this process long ago. Thank you.
Legislator Amo.
Just a point of information, address it maybe to the legislative attorney. The focus of this resolution is to vote to send it to a public hearing, of which then feedback would come back and could affect many of the changes that we're hearing here. If I got that right?
The purpose of this resolution is to forward it to a public comment period, and a public hearing is required by the charter in anticipation of adopting the map as it currently exists.
Then it will come back to us to vote on.
And then it would come back to adopt the local law.
And is there, I don't believe, so I'll ask it in the affirmative. There are, I'm negative, there are no restrictions for anybody in this body to submit their comments to in the public format.
Correct. So the public hearing is scheduled for August 15th at 5 p.m. for individuals that would like to be present physically and provide their comments. However, the comment period between August 2nd through August 16th would provide the opportunity for individuals to submit comments via email to our clerk of the legislature, or submit hard copies of comments.
Okay. Thank you for the information.
Okay, anyone else? Legislator Hines.
Thank you, Madam Chair. If I were to write a book on redistricting, this would be how not to do it. This was a horrible process. My district now goes from Cornwall to New Windsor to Orange Lake in the town of Newburgh. In my wildest dreams, I couldn't have drawn a map such as that. And had that come about, well, when we went from map 5 to map 6, a few legislators got to make a few changes because I think leadership was trying to count to 11. And in doing so, my district kept getting changed and moving from town to town to town without any notice or input until the last public meeting we had. So there was no time to comment on that because I wasn't in Orange Lake when map 5 and map 6, map 5 was developed. When it went to map 6, that's when all those changes took place without talking to anybody. They just, I guess the consultants just clicked that magic button because they got a hell of a computer. That software is phenomenal. And unfortunately, we didn't get to use it. We paid for it, but we didn't use it. And the proof I have of that is when one of the committee of 6 said at the first public meeting, wow, this is incredible software. We never got to see this. So the committee of 6 never got to use that software that we all got to see at that first public meeting. That is crazy because we could have made some really good maps had we used that software properly, but it didn't happen. I guess maybe it wasn't offered to the committee. I don't know, but that was ridiculous. I think you all know, and I'll take the blame for it, I walked out of the Rules Committee. Why did I walk out? Because I can count to 5. The chairwoman can vote, but can't count as the quorum. And I saw that map 5 at the time was getting shoved down our throat. So I had no choice but to leave. And thank God, Legislator Paduk and Sutherland also left, because that then created map 6, so that, which never would have happened, which made it better for some of you. It made it worse for me, of course, but that's okay. But map 6 is a little bit better because we all know map 5 was gerrymandered to the max. So that helped a little bit. But then, as we tried to speak to the consultants, it was shutdown time. We promised the public 3 maps, and now there's only 1. So how do you have a public hearing on 3 maps when there's only 1? And one of the arguments I heard was, well, our budget's done. We appropriated like 75 grand, it's done. This county has plenty of money to do this right.
and we should do it right just because of the people. And Legislator Ramos, I love what you said about looking out for the whole county rather than your district. I learned that from my predecessor, Alan Seidman. That's the first thing he told me. He said, county, district, party. That's the way you should legislate. And if you deviate from that, you're not doing your job. County, district, party. And I've tried to follow that because Alan taught it to me when I got here 14 and a half years ago. Is this map going to change? If map 6 goes to that public hearing, is it going to change? Not if it gets voted on today. I've been here for 14 and a half years. The public comments don't change a lot of things around here. Once in a while, somebody scores a few points, but it's very rare. My district is shaped like a horseshoe. And when I pointed it out to the expert, I said, aren't the districts supposed to be with common interests and people like at least close to the same towns? He says, no, that's not an odd shape. And I said, what shape is it? I guess it's a horseshoe is what, he didn't answer the question, but that's what I got out of it. I think this map is an epic fail. Every one of us should send it back to that committee of 6 and do the proper work to create 3 maps, pay the consultant more money if we have to, do it properly for the entire county of Orange. Thank you.
Any other comments? Minority Leader Padu.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I couldn't agree with you more, Kevin. And in regards to the 3 maps, just on July 2nd, we passed a resolution of the Orange County Legislature to accept and submit 3 redistricting map options for public review and comment and establishing a date for a public hearing. We have 1 map that we're stuck with now, supposedly, with a proposed public hearing at 5 o'clock. So right now, I'm going to try and ask, not knowing how the vote might go, that we amend the time to 7 o'clock. We've had plenty of public hearings at 7 o'clock where the public would have the opportunity to come and at least see the maps. People at 5 o'clock are still working. People here in the county are still working at 5 o'clock. If they had concerns, could they make it? Not sure. So I'm going to make a motion to amend the resolution to have the public hearing at 7 o'clock, whether this passes or not.
Right, we have a motion and a second. Discussion on the motion, please. Majority Leader Fagion.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a point of a question here on the resolution here in front of us. It says that the public hearing starts at 5 p.m. There is no close time on that public hearing. So in terms of the motion and a second here before us, I mean, I'll stay until midnight, 2 o'clock in the morning if necessary for that day. But starting that meeting at 5 p.m. and continuing it through 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night for as long as the public is here, I have no objection to that. So since there's no end to that public hearing beginning at 5, I would offer maybe reconsideration on that motion. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Any other questions or comments on the motion? Legislator Tortel.
Thank you. On the motion, there may not be no end time to the 5 p.m. meeting. However, if the public can't get here at 5 p.m. and there's nobody here to speak, as we just saw with the public hearing on the budget for SUNY Orange, the meeting's opened, the meeting's closed, you show up 10 minutes later, sayonara, you missed your chance. That was one of the reasons when we did the public hearing on the proposed changes to the sewer plant, it was recommended by the consultants who work across many legislative boards and bodies and towns that we hold that hearing at 7 p.m. And it was. So once again, I mean, this is something that's been a democratic, bailiwick is holding our meetings a little later to have better access for the public, whether it be issue-driven or not. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments on the amendment? Kevin Darian Lujan, legislator.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I want to just share the same sentiments. I mean, I've always pushed for us having later meetings for legislative session. This is one of those hot topic issues that is going to impact, our communities for a decade. It is definitely not something that that any of us take lightly. And I do understand the majority leader's position about saying, we don't have an end time. But the reality is a lot of individuals are not arriving at 5 o'clock. Many people are getting out of work at 5 o'clock. I think setting a later time definitely allows us to get individuals who are as far as west of Port Jervis, as far as the city of Newburgh and beyond. Some individuals drive 45 minutes. Some of us commute 45 minutes to get here. And so it just makes sense for us to, for something as important as this, it merits us starting a little bit later. So regardless of whether or not how any of us vote, I think this is something I think we can all get behind, that we want to have as many people that can get there, be there, and that is a time that is more efficient for those individuals who are working later. Thank you.
Legislator O'Donnell.
Thank you, Chairwoman. So everybody's making very good points here. So I would propose that you start at 5 and end at 9 unless there's more people waiting to speak. Okay? That gives you a maximum of people that can be here at 5 but can't be here at 7. So we put an end time to it also, considering that at 9 o'clock, nobody has still left to speak. Thank you, Chair.
I just need to clarify. You're saying have the public hearing from 5 to 9. And then you said something if no one,
If at 9 o'clock, there's still people to speak, they get to speak,
okay.
okay?
So you're making another motion.
I don't think I can till we vote on the first one.
Exactly.
Right. I'm just making a
No,
observation.
Mr. Paduk, do you want to stay with your original motion?
no, I'm going to keep it at 7 o'clock from 5 to 9. I don't see people.
Right, that's fine.
I just don't
That's
see.
fine.
7 o'clock.
Okay. Anything else on the original motion, moving the time from 5 to 7? Okay, let's take a vote. This vote, the amendment is to move the time to 7 PM from 5 PM. Yes, Legislator Tortel.
Point of question, we're voting solely on the time, not on approving the maps at this
We're
time.
voting on 5 to 7. Yes.
Okay, so if
Making
we
it 7
vote,
o'clock, that's it. That's
thank
the
you.
amendment.
Just wanted the clarification.
That is the amendment.
Just to follow up, so if it passes, it'll be at 7 o'clock, if this is approved.
Yes.
If it doesn't pass, doesn't matter. Okay.
The resolution you have in front of you, 5 PM will be changed to 7 PM if this in fact passes. Is that correct? Okay, roll call, please.
Fagion?
No.
Paduk?
Yes.
Amo?
No,
Benton?
Yes.
Cheney? Ellers? Feller? Hines? Lujan? O'Donnell? Ramos? Riskevich?
Yes.
Sassy? Stiganga?
Yes.
Sutherland? Tortel? Tui? Benelli?
Yes.
14 ayes, 4 noes.
Now we are back to the original motion. Are there any other comments? Legislator Sutherland.
Thank you, Chairwoman. Over the last 7 years in the legislature, I've done everything I can to represent and serve the people, not only of District 2, but all of the residents of Orange County. And it's been an honor and a privilege to do my part in working with local leaders to improve the welfare of our communities, a mission I'm here to continue to fulfill to the best of my ability. But as I've tried to make it clear in past meetings, but was prevented from doing so by either being spoken over or dismissed like a child, I have a tremendous amount of disdain for this redistricting process, which has been far from the fair and honest exercise I feel it's meant to be. And while I'm not going to repeat what's already been said and beat it to a pulp, I also can't stay silent while our voices and the voices of our constituents are being diminished, and their needs are being shoved aside in favor of pushing this process forward. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, proceed with, I'm sorry, Mr. Benton, I didn't see you. Legislator Benton.
Thank you. My comments is like Mr. Amo, more on the process. So the public hearing comment period is going to be from August 2nd to August 16th. Why would there be public comment after the public hearing?
To give people an opportunity to provide comment for a longer period of time.
Okay, I just think if you have public comment from the August 2nd to the 15th at 5 o'clock by writing or submittal, that's okay. But why would you do submittals after the public hearing? Because I just don't think that makes sense. I think it should stop at the 15th and you have the public hearing and it gets presented and closed. But that's not for me to decide. So next on the process. Again, I was one of the legislators that spoke at the 26th meeting and was shown the computer and what the programmer could do with moving the lines. So at this public hearing on the 15th, when people come to the microphone, are they going to have the advantage of having the person with the clicker move lines for their concerns?
No.
So how are we going to know what people suggest, what the reaction or what it causes? Why would not we have, like we had on the 26th, for people to be able to come to the microphone like I did when I said, oh, wow, this is great. We should have done this 2-3 months ago. When a person comes to the microphone, they're going to have a suggestion about the town of Newburgh, okay? They, like us, before that meeting, have no clue as to what the numbers are for particular neighborhoods or census blocks. And at that time, we were able to see him move the mouse and to change the boundaries by census blocks and make changes. So someone can come to the microphone, you're saying that night, make comments, and someone's going to look at that. Maybe they don't understand what they're saying, and that's going to be after the public hearing. We're not going to have the consultant back like that, like Kevin Hines said. You should have the consultant back so people can, again, look at the maps. Because I'm disappointed, to tell you the truth, that we were promised a second hearing just like that, and that didn't happen. So if you're having a public hearing where the public has suggestions but has no frickin' clue how it's going to be received and what it's actually going to do, and the legislators that were there, they can't see what the person suggesting is going to actually do. Am I accurate?
First of all, I'm hearing what you're saying, but the meeting that was held was a special was the Rules Committee meeting.
Mm-hmm.
That was not a public hearing.
No, but
That was not a public hearing whatsoever. That was the opportunity to work with them. So that was more of a, well, it was a statutory
it was a
committee.
work session.
Right. This is a public hearing. At public hearings, and correct me if I'm wrong, the public has the opportunity to present their thoughts or send it in. Just like, and I will rely on, I think somebody mentioned the sewer public hearing before. Some people may have had comments. Unfortunately, at that meeting, we were there and we didn't get any comments. But if they were questioning what was happening with train number 3 or things like that, they were putting that into comments. And then the consultants will respond to comments made in preparation for the final adoption of whatever is before you in the public hearing. So any of the comments that are made by the public at the public hearing will be taken into consideration, and that will be, tell me if I'm right or wrong here, and that will be responded in writing that we will see before we make our final determination.
Okay, so theoretically.
So a public hearing is not a, for lack of a better word, a work session.
Okay, so theoretically then, people make the suggestion, and then it goes to the consultant and the quote, rules committee again, for us to, as a legislature, to all attend another special meeting and go through each person's comment like that on the screen? No? Because if no, I'm a no. If yes, for continuing the process through similarly to what we had done before with legislative comments and now other people's comments, I'd be yes to at least send it to the public hearing.
What I can say that the public comment period and the public hearing would be to obtain comment on the map as it currently exists. It would not be a open session to create a new map.
Well, it's to create modifications, not a,
Which
not,
would be creating a new map.
so it means nothing then. So this is take it or leave it, like Mr. Hines said. We're not going to be able to take public comment and make minor adjustments.
This public hearing is a requirement under the charter to move forward with redistricting.
Right?
Any proposed reapportionment plan has to be, has to go to public hearing before it can be adopted.
I understand that. So in general, most public hearings are show up. If you're opposed and the majority opposes you, you can make your comments and it really doesn't matter. That's what typically public hearings are. So that's what you're saying. The public can come and make a statement or ask a question, but it doesn't go any further.
All right. I am being advised by counsel that we make a motion to go into executive session, or attorney-client privilege. I will make that motion. Do I have a second? All in favor? All right, we will recess into the statutory committee room. So this way, we're not vacating the people from the chambers. We're just waiting on Betsy. Okay, I will entertain.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I make a motion that we leave the attorney-client privilege.
Oh, thank you.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. Okay, we move on to, we're on item number 5. Is there any further discussion on this before I call the roll? Legislator Verskevich.
Yeah, I think at this point, we've had plenty of discussion on this item. I'd like to call the question.
Did I? Yeah, well, we're calling the question, so that stops everything, all right? Okay. But do I have a second? Okay.
As amended, right?
Oh, as amended, yes, Michael. Thank you. Okay, so, do I have the opportunity to have? Okay. All right, so we have a motion, we have a second, so we will move forward with the vote. Call the question, which would be roll call. And it is as amended.
Hold on a second.
Oh,
The vote would be to stop discussion
oh, okay,
and
all
to
right.
move forward,
Okay, all right, I stand corrected, thank
to
you.
go ahead and call the question. It would not be actually calling the question, if that makes sense.
Kind of. Yes, it does, go ahead. Does everyone understand? Wait a minute before I do anything. Everybody understand? Could you clarify it once more, please?
Sure, so there was a motion made by Legislator Riskevich, seconded by Legislator Amo, to suspend debate and discussion and to move forward with calling the question at this time. So that is what you are voting on, whether we should stop discussion and call the question.
Usually it's not. No, no, no.
Procedural question.
Okay. So the roll call is on suspending discussion or concluding. I have a question. Legislator Lujan.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but for example, if legislators have not talked on this particular topic, aren't we allowed to make a comment? I know other legislators have had the opportunity to speak on it, and I know myself, I haven't had the chance to make my comment publicly, and I'm sure that there are other legislators who haven't, so I don't know why we're closing comment right now. But okay, if the legislators would like to vote in closing comment and go right ahead, but I just want to make that clear that I know
Okay,
there's others that haven't.
fine, thank you. Okay, roll call, please.
Fagion?
Yes.
Paduk?
No.
Amo?
Yes.
Benton? Cheney?
Yes.
Ellers? Feller? Hines? Luhan? O'Donnell? Ramos? Riskevich?
Yes, please.
Sassy? Stiganga? Sutherland? Tortel? Tui? Benelli?
Yes.
13 ayes, 5 noes.
Okay. All right, now we are going to call the question. Would you, I don't think we need to read it again. This is as amended. So what you have before you, and it was changed to 7 o'clock by an amendment. Okay. I'm ready.
Fagion?
Yes.
Paduk?
No.
Amo,
Yes.
Benton. Cheney,
Yes.
Ellers. Feller. Hines. Luhan. I'm sorry, Hines was no. I apologize. Luhan. O'Donnell. Ramos. Riskevich. Sassy. Stiganga. Sutherland. Tautel. Tui. Benelli.
Yes.
8 ayes, 10 noes.
Motion fails. Number 6, please.
Legislators Paduk and Fagione, with all Republicans and all Democrats as co-sponsors. Resolution of the Orange County Legislature awarding grants to various municipalities pursuant to a municipal legislative grant program.
Questions or comments? Minority Leader Paduk.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This was proposed our first time last year. It worked well. I'm so happy that everybody's going to support this. I know municipal leaders all enjoy the fact that we actually hear what they're saying. We can help them in some ways. I'm so proud to be part of it and a sponsor of this local law, of this resolution.
Anything else? Roll call, please.
Fagione?
Yes.
Paduk?
Yes.
Amo? Benton? Cheney? Ellers? Feller? Hines? Luhan? O'Donnell? Ramos? Riskevich? Sassy? Stiganga? Sutherland? Tautel? Tui? Benelli. 18 ayes.
And we move to number 7, please.
Legislators Sassy and Sutherland, with all Republicans and all Democrats as co-sponsors. Resolution authorizing the county executive in conjunction with the Orange County District Attorney's Office to accept and appropriate grant funds from the New York State Division of Criminal Justice Services for the Crimes Against Revenue Grant Program pursuant to Section 4.09 of the Orange County Charter.
Second.
Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Fagione? Paduk?
Yes.
Amo? Benton? Cheney? Ellers? Feller? Hines? Luhan? O'Donnell? Ramos? Riskevich? Sassy? Stiganga? Sutherland? Tautel? Tui? Benelli. 18 ayes.
And we move to number 8, please.
Legislators Sassy and Sutherland, with all Republicans and all Democrats as co-sponsors. Resolution authorizing the county executive in conjunction with the Orange County District Attorney's Office to accept and appropriate grant funds from the New York State Division of Criminal Justice Services for the Gun-Involved Violence Elimination Initiative Grant pursuant to Section 4.09 of the Orange County Charter.
Second.
Questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Fagione? Paduk?
Yes.
Amo? Benton? Cheney? Ellers? Feller? Hines? Luhan? O'Donnell? Ramos? Riskevich? Sassy? Stiganga? Sutherland? Tautel? Tui? Benelli. 18 ayes.
And that brings us to agenda item number 9.
Legislators Sassy and Sutherland, with all Republicans and all Democrats as co-sponsors. Resolution authorizing the county executive in conjunction with the Orange County Department of Probation to accept and appropriate grant funds from the New York State Division of Criminal Justice Services for the Gun-Involved Violence Elimination Initiative Grant pursuant to Section 4.09 of the Orange County Charter.
Second.
Questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Fagione? Paduk?
Yes.
Amo? Benton? Cheney? Ellers? Feller? Hines? Luhan? O'Donnell? Ramos? Riskevich? Sassy? Stiganga? Sutherland? Tautel? Tui? Benelli. 18 ayes.
And we move to number 10, please.
Legislators Ellers and Sassy, with all Republicans and all Democrats as co-sponsors. Resolution authorizing the county executive in conjunction with the Orange County Sheriff's Office to accept and appropriate grant funds from the New York State Division of Criminal Justice Services for the Gun-Involved Violence Elimination Initiative Grant pursuant to Section 4.09 of the Orange County Charter.
Second.
Questions or comments? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Fagione? Paduk?
Yes.
Amo? Benton? Cheney? Ellers? Feller, Hines, Lujan, O'Donnell, Ramos, Riskevich, Sassy, Stiganga, Sutherland, Tortel, Tui, Benelli. 18 ayes.
Okay, number 11, please.
Legislators Sassy and O'Donnell, with all Republicans and all Democrats as co-sponsors. Resolution authorizing the county executive, in conjunction with the Orange County Youth Bureau, to appropriate additional funding received from the New York State Office of Children and Family Services pursuant to Section 4.09 of the Orange County Charter.
Second.
Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Fagion? Paduk?
Yes.
Amo? Benton? Cheney? Ellers? Feller? Hines? Lujan? O'Donnell? Ramos? Riskevich? Sassy? Stiganga? Sutherland? Tortel? Tui? Benelli. 18 ayes.
Number 12, please.
Legislators Fagion, Lujan, Tui, Ellers, and Feller, with all Republicans and all Democrats as co-sponsors. Resolution confirming the appointment by the county executive of Lacey Trimble as Commissioner of the Orange County Department of Social Services pursuant to Section 11.01 of the Orange County Charter and Commissioner of the Orange County Department of Mental Health pursuant to Section 18.07 of the Orange County Charter.
Second.
Questions or comments? Legislator Amo, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. At the July meeting of the Human Service meeting and the Health and Mental Health, I aggressively questioned Lacey Turnbull, Acting Commissioner of Mental Health and Social Services. Because of some concerns that I had, I abstained. But I want to explain that today. I was involved when the county decided to merge Mental Health and Social Services following the merger of General Services and IT. There were many questions that those mergers may or may not work, not because of any individual, just because of the size of the task being dealt with. It was a matter of size, really, that when the merger and the unknown circumstances that may follow that raised concerns for me. Since that time, my knowledge of a comprehensive, objective, and review of all the undertaken, I believe that I can move forward with that. I've talked to the chairwoman and about this issue, and my biggest concern is that should we continue to have these two departments connected together? It seems to me that when we did that, we did it because of some fiscal reasons. We wanted to move in that direction. Now was a good time, I thought, to step back and say, is this the best way to deliver services in both of these departments? And I think that's really the question. But since it seems to be, as my friend Eddie Diana once said to me, when you're a legislator, can you count to 11? Well, I can count to 11, and no matter what I say, I'm sure this is going to pass. So you're not going to, I'm going to go in the affirmative on this one. But I really have asked the chairwoman if she would begin to think about between now and the end of the 5-year term for the Director of Social Services, that we begin to talk about, is this the right thing to do? I also, with this, will ask Mr. Chapman of Human Resources if they would begin to explore, is this really a good idea to continue these two departments coupled? But having said that, I'm going to vote in the affirmative.
Thank you. Legislator O'Donnell.
Thank you, Chairwoman. I would totally support those comments by Legislator Amo. I've talked about this in the past, that the two departments should be separate. And if you look at the last 5 to 10 years, the state of mental health has grown considerably. So I do believe that a study is in order, and we should commission one to make sure that we're taking care of both departments as we should. Thank you. I'm also going to be a yes. She's very good at her job, right? But two heads sometimes is better than one. So.
Thank you. Any further comments? Roll call, please.
Fagion? Paduk?
Yes.
Amo? Benton? Cheney? Ellers? Feller? Hines? Lujan? O'Donnell? Ramos? Riskevich? Sassy? Stiganga? Sutherland? Tortel? Tui? Benelli. 18 ayes.
Congratulations, Lacey. Yes, we're glad you were here. Thank you and congratulations. Number 13, please.
Legislators Lujan, Menuda, Sutherland, and Ellers, with all Republicans and all Democrats as co-sponsors. Resolution authorizing an increase in the per diem hourly rates of pay for various positions at the Orange County Department of Residential Healthcare Services pursuant to Section 2.020 of the Orange County Charter.
Second.
Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Fagion?
Yes.
Paduk?
Yes.
Amo, Benton, Cheney, Ellers, Feller, Hines, Lujan, O'Donnell, Ramos, Riskevich, Sassy, Stiganga, Sutherland, Tortel, Tui, Benelli. 18 ayes.
That brings us to number 14, please.
Legislators Menuda, Lujan, Ramos, Amo, with all Republicans as co-sponsors. An act amending the appropriate Orange County employment schedules to create one senior clerk at the Orange County Office for the Aging pursuant to Section 2.02L of the Orange County Charter.
Second.
Questions, comments? Please call the roll.
Fagion?
Yes.
Paduk?
Yes.
Amo, Benton, Cheney, Ellers, Feller, Hines, Lujan, O'Donnell, Ramos, Riskevich, Sassy, Stiganga, Sutherland, Tortel, Tui, Benelli. 18 ayes.
Thank you. Number 15, please.
Legislators Fagion, Menuda, Tortel, and Tui. An act amending the appropriate Orange County employment schedules to create Director of Community Engagement at the Orange County Department of Parks, Recreation, and Conservation pursuant to Section 2.02L of the Orange County Charter.
Second.
Questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Fagion?
Yes.
Paduk?
Yes.
Amo, Benton, Cheney, Ellers, Feller, Hines, Lujan, O'Donnell, Ramos, Riskevich, Sassy, Stiganga, Sutherland, Tortel, Tui, Benelli. 18 ayes, Madam Chair, and the desk is clear.
Thank you. We have two speakers this afternoon. The first one is Bob Link. Bob, welcome to the microphone. There you go.
Okay. I'm going to apologize about my voice. I just came from chemo. You know, I have cancer. So I do apologize. Okay. I've been here since February of last year. I've made 15 meetings. All I'm asking is somebody get me an appointment with somebody in the state. You are the only place, the only county in the state who has not gotten a raise since 2012. Joy is probably going to go out of business along with about 10 other people. This is stupid. I know you can't do anything, but if you can call somebody in the state, get me an appointment. I'll do what I have to do. Apparently, nobody wants to deal with this. I was told by a legislature, you know, or somebody did a bad thing. There are bad actors everywhere. You had a problem with the IDA, and they took $2 million, and, you know, in 2020. And then you had some other county up here where people were self-dealing. There was a bad actor in the taxi business. Joy does everything by the books. I don't know what else I can do. I can just ask you, somebody get me an appointment with somebody. Scopus sends me back to you. Everybody sends me back to you. Okay, please help me, okay? I don't work for Joy anymore, but I'm here because it's important. These are the people that need help. Medicaid people that need help. If you don't care about them, then say, we don't care about them. If you do care about them, please get me an appointment with someone in the state. I'll go anywhere, as long as I don't have to go to chemo. Have a good day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Link. Next speaker is Orion Russell Blake from Florida in regard to flooded farms.
Hello. Yes, my name is Orion Russell Blake, and I've created an organization called Flooded Farm for advocacy of our local peatlands. If you're not aware, peatland is the technical scientific term for our local black dirt region worldwide, which our local peatlands are in a degraded state due to drainage. Degraded peatlands are responsible for 5% of global climate emissions. And in a healthy state, a re-wetted state as wetlands, they are nature's carbon capture. They hold 44% of the terrestrial carbon store worldwide. So that's what nature does naturally. It's not a tech fantasy of drawing carbon from the atmosphere and sending it into mines or anything. There are several institutions in the county which, with disregard for this issue, are perpetuating it into the future. The planning department has just completed a greenhouse gas inventory that does not show the emissions from the black dirt, which is an emitter collectively on the scale of the CPV plan. I've asked to be on the study advisory board for that. And they have an upcoming climate action plan that planning for these emissions and for restoration of peatlands could be included. The county also has a county park in the works at Camp LaGuardia, which includes peatlands that have been abandoned. That could be a peatland restoration site for the beacon for a way forward. The Ag and Farm, moving on from the planning department, the Ag and Farmland Protection Board has listed in its plan document that they aim for comprehensive drainage of the black dirt. To expand why drainage is harmful, black dirt peatlands formed as wetlands in a flooding condition, and the organic matter built up over millennia because it was not able to go through aerobic decomposition underwater. That's why those soils exist. When they're drained, the decomposition can happen. It turns into carbon dioxide and NOx, and it causes soil subsidence, which increases flood risk in our watersheds. That's why they need drainage infrastructure time again, because it's this drainage infrastructure regimes in black dirt are like bailing out a leaky boat. You need more and more of it as the soil gets washed away or becomes gas in the atmosphere.
Mr. Blake, your time is up. Thank you for attending. We appreciate your comments.
I'm looking forward to finding a way to work with the legislature to find a way forward.
Thank you. We appreciate it. Thank you. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to close. Do I have a second? All in favor? Be safe going home.